Loki Modern Epic Collection. I'm still hesitant on the Modern Epic collections. I'm not sure if I'm going to collect them all, but I do have the first two offerings of this and Spider-Gwen, and they both suffer from kind of the same problem, which I'll get to in just a minute. It covers Siege Loki and Journey into Mystery 621 to 636. 622, sorry, and 626.1. It's part of the point one initiative, which is like a weird Marvel, like, hey, this is a good jumping on point where you can learn things. And actually, this was not a good jumping on point for this Loki book. It's done by Kieron Gillen and then a whole bunch of other artists. And the art's actually pretty good over the course of this. So, I mean, the Siege is one thing. And I guess there's a Siege of Asgard sort of thing where all this gets set up. And here's Loki. And then at the end of the issue, like, something happened in the event, I guess. And now he's like a little kid. And Asgard like had this big fight or whatever, and all this stuff happened. Now the art in the actual Journey into Mystery is beautiful, as you can see. So really nicely done over the course of this. And the main art on the main storyline is pretty good. Loki is like teaming up with a Mephisto and Hela, and he's got this like sort of thing because there's like this serpent or something like that that's going to crush Asgard and destroy everybody unless he does something. And he's got this whole plot to like stop the serpent, and he gets these weapons and does these things, and you learn a lot. Like, I mean, actually, the character. What I got to say about Kieron Gillen's writing is the characterization's pretty nice. You really start to care about Loki, who's trying to like actually be a better Loki than the old one in some ways. I mean, in some ways he's not. And like I said, the art's really nice too. And he goes on these little like half-cocked adventures where he gets into trouble with Asgard over the course of things. And each issue starts out with like somebody narrating like the story so far, which is kind of cute too. It's a good little recap sort of thing. It's not really necessary for when you're reading it in this collected format so much though, but it's pretty good because, you know, at this point in Marvel Comics, the single issues stop mattering whatsoever. It's like definitely written for collected edition, and it's a problem on that level. Now, as this goes on, Loki eventually gets into Asgard, or gets into like the serpent's like fake Asgard sort of thing, and does a thing, and then suddenly everything resets, and like we have an aftermath issue where they just tell us there's an aftermath, and then Loki tries to find his way. There's like a new Asgard going on where Odin's not even around anymore, and they've like replaced like Odin with like these women in charge, so it's now like a matriarch. I think they even call themselves matriarchy. There's some really cringe stuff in here, and this is like the beginning of where Marvel starts to get kind of bad for a lot of years, because they start to really push this type of stuff in all the comics. It really sucks, and lots of like random stuff. These are the Asgardian gods, and like they're like, you need to not use gendered insults, Loki. I'm dead serious. It's like, are you for real? It really throws you out of the story. And there's a few instances of that in here. Another weird part to me is when Volstagg is going off on, quote, Nazis. And you know that these people love to rant about Nazis, and they like to imply that everybody who doesn't agree with them politically is a Nazi, right? And that's the problem, again, with the Marvel Comics of this era. And so there's a part where it's like it's Volstagg in his house, and remember, this is an Asgardian god. He's seen like monsters and horrors and all that, but like they're really gonna sit there and talk about Nazis, like and rant about it at their dinner table. Really doesn't make sense for the character whatsoever. And so the line that really stuck out was like, "What do we do with Nazis' children? We kill them." And it's like, okay, cool. I guess you want to kill your political opponents is the takeaway of this. So Loki kind of like has these little one-off adventures. He gets in this like sort of quest against Nightmare with Hellstrom, and it kind of resolves kind of weird, but at least it's its own story. So like I actually preferred this little story where Loki's with Hellstrom and then doing his thing with like Hela's little clone daughter thingy, whatever it is. Because at least it was not tied into the events. Now, the thing about the events at the beginning with Siege, like this stuff happens and Asgard's shaken and Loki's a kid, you don't see any of it on screen because you don't have the Siege collected in here. Then it gets into Fear itself, which is with that big serpent Asgard war, and you don't see that on screen either. And actually, everything Loki did up until that point does not even matter towards that actual event storyline or fix anything. So it's a big waste of time to read this entire book, and it sucks, is what it comes down to. Like I said, a lot of the art's really pretty. That little Hellstrom storyline's all right at the very end of it. But beyond that, like, I mean, the characterizations are pretty good overall, except for the parts I pointed out. But like, this is a pointless book. It doesn't help you learn about the character of Loki at all. It does not help you really like get the grip of Asgard at all. If you don't have like a full history of Thor and already know what's going on with those events and things like that, this would be a train wreck to read. So releasing this right before, I guess they're going to do a season 2 of Loki is really a weird thing. They call this a volume 1. They list it as volume 1. This is where they want you to get to know, I guess, Loki in the modern epics. And gosh, it's I mean, the art can only do so much in a comic book. You have to have story. It's better to have a like average artist or a little substandard artist in a storyline that's just rocking than like a beautiful painted style art like this has, and a story that just like really does not do anybody service. So that's where we're at. I call this a 5 out of 10. Usually I call my books 7 out of 10 at an average. So you know that I'm really not enjoying this. Is what it comes down to. This was a bit of a half-baked fail by the Modern Epic Collections for their second outing. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.